or I'm really excited that this movie just went in directions to where it was unpredictable. Like overall, if you just laid out the plot, you'd be like, that's all that happens. But just of how ridiculous the lines are and the setups are, that it makes the payoff so strong.
I've got you on my mind, your secret admirer. I've been watching you at night. I think of you. I want to be your baby.
Hey there, Drive-By Movies, and you are watching
Fresh Releases.
My name is James.
My name is Blaise.
And today we're checking out the new hit Marvel movie that's supposed to be nuts, Friendship.
There's a new Marvel out that's supposed to be nuts. We should go see that.
Friendship is the story about a suburban dad that falls hard for his charismatic new neighbor. So, Tim Robinson's I Think You Should Leave movie, this is what this feels like, at least to me. This is Tim Robinson's theatrical debut. I'm not really familiar with the director Andrew DeYoung, but this feels like the I Think You Should Leave the movie. At least for me, that's how it felt. What'd you think of the film, James?
Yeah, so because of this movie, I wanted to check out the show. Now, I had seen clips of it. You know, a lot of clips are viral on TikTok, Instagram Reels, whatever you watch. I think everyone knows the, like, I didn't do shit. Like, I didn't do it. Like, whether it's that one or the many other popular skits that he's done. I finally wanted to check it out. And definitely the best aspects of the show are the ones where he's the weird one, but trying to convince all normal people that they're the weird ones. That's when the show works its best, because there are a lot of hit and misses, I think, within the show, but for the most part, I do enjoy most of it, and I am really liking it so far. I'm halfway through season 2. But this movie utilizes all those best aspects and focuses more on just it. Like, at first, I couldn't tell if this was an absurdist world where just everyone was bizarre, like Napoleon Dynamite or something. And no, it's not. It's just really Tim Robinson's weird household family that's just bizarre, and then everyone else is more in tune with the real world, I guess you could say, even though there's still some out of the box characters within the movie. But I was dying laughing. It's one of the best movies of the year and one of the best comedies in a long time too. I thoroughly enjoyed it and can't wait to see it again. What are your thoughts coming out of it?
Yeah, this is the first time in a while since I've been at the theater, and I was like, I wish they turned it up, because I can't even hear the dialogue because people are laughing so loud. Like I literally couldn't hear it. It wasn't sold out, but it was pretty packed, and I think it was all I Think You Should Leave heads, and they were just like cracking up so much that, like, oftentimes I literally couldn't hear the dialogue, and I'm like, dude, please turn it up. And like you, I think I have kind of the same experience with the show. I've seen a ton of clips, I've gone and watched episodes, but I haven't watched every episode. And like you, I feel like a lot of it was hit or miss for me. There was ones that are really funny, like that first episode. I love the like punked one where he's like in that weird suit with like all that like makeup on and just keeps feeling like, why do I have all this stuff on me? Like, I have so much stuff. Like, I don't know why that one was like one of my favorites. I know it's the first episode, but it was just such a weird, dark, absurdist skit. And like having that kind of, like, I feel like this movie is like the same, where it is kind of like has a lot of that dark absurdity element, and a lot of the humor comes from its absurdness, and also like its kind of cringeworthy factor. I think a lot of the comedy isn't totally cringeworthy, but the movie overall is like pretty cringeworthy. The plot is literally about two dads kind of like falling for each other, you know. Well, Paul Rudd's not a dad, but has that whole like cool old guy lifestyle that he's living, playing in a band, being a weatherman, the late night weatherman, wanting to transition his life to being the early morning guy, having the big job, and, showing everyone who's boss. But really the kind of persona that he puts out there, especially for Tim Robinson, the one that he falls in love with, isn't really the same persona as like him at work. He's like all stressed and stuff. So yeah, I thought that this was the absurdist movie, and I think one of the things that really makes this movie shine, it doesn't actually have to do with the movie at all. It just has to do with the fact that there's probably been about 4 years here where the only comedies we're getting are Marvel movies. We're not really getting comedy movies in theaters. You have plenty of comedy movies on streaming, and oftentimes those were even duds, but now you're getting an actual comedy in theaters that's original, that's hilarious, to where I can't hear the screen at all. I can't even hear the dialogue because people are in the room are laughing so hard. It really helped it shine, like having no other comedies for the past couple of years, I think.
Yeah, honestly, I was trying to remember the last time I laughed so hard, and I guess honestly it's been since Blockers. That's not going to be for everyone, that movie, but that was like the last time I felt like I was dying laughing in the theater, and that was, I believe, like 7 or 8 years ago, something like that. And before that too, I remember when Blockers came out, that was like a movie where it's just like, it's been a while since we've gotten a raunchy comedy that's actually funny like this. And just, you know, comedy is different these days. A lot of people say, oh, you can't make jokes anymore because the world is woke. That's not it. It's just, you know, there's just certain aspects that people don't know how to make funny, I guess you could say. And a lot of studios are scared of making risks. And also these days, studios only make movies based off of IP. So that's why most comedies are direct to streaming. But it's just all bad writing in the writing department, I guess. They're just not coming up with great jokes overall. And I like that this movie is kind of just like, not anti-comedy, it's more like the anti just what we know as a comedy. Like I thought casting Paul Rudd was brilliant, almost because you expect this to be an I Love You Man style movie, which I really didn't like that movie. I know that movie means a lot to other people, and at the time I really loved that Judd Apatow style humor, but that movie just didn't work for me. And I love that this movie is just like kind of the complete opposite of that, where it kind of has that brotherly love like comedy, but is just way more ridiculous with it. It just has lines that like shouldn't be funny, but just it's all in the delivery and the absurdity of just like kind of throwing it in. And I could see this movie turning off a lot of people because, you know, Tim Robinson's ridiculous in the movie. He's very childlike, and he's even called a child early on by Paul Rudd in the movie. But he's never like, he gets annoying and gets on your nerves at times, but he's also still lovable. And I like that each time he was getting on your nerves, like they would like kind of bring him down to a more like sympathy aspect to where you just kind of felt bad for him. So whether or not you like his style of humor, he does get ridiculous. He is going to annoy you in this movie, but then they bring him down at just the right moment. So I commend the director for keeping the pacing of this movie perfect, because there were so many times where I was getting frustrated, but then they'd bring him down and be like, oh, poor guy.
Yeah, they make you sympathize with him, make you feel like he shouldn't be all alone. He's just weird, but he shouldn't be alone. Like, he shouldn't have literally no friends. He only literally has his wife who's wanting to leave him, and his son who doesn't even feel really like his son, like at times, especially with him, like, you know, playing in a wet one on his wife and stuff. It's just like weird moments like that where you're like, this guy feels ostracized even in his own household. But yeah, I'd say that this was... Dude, this movie's hilarious. Like, it was so funny where sometimes I can't even remember all the scenes, but if I think of one, I just start cracking up. Like the Marvel stuff, that was funny, obviously, especially with the Thunderbolts coming out recently. But even like he's like this marketing exec who's like just kind of like crashing out at his own job, and there's a lot of funny elements to this movie that had me dying. I think really the biggest thing though is just Tim Robinson is like personifies that clown really well. Like, he kind of can poke fun at himself and knows like the kind of crazy like faces that he can almost make in a way that are just gonna get laughs with him out even saying anything, but he's still delivering a line that's absolutely hilarious. He really just seems like a master of this comedy that he's almost like birthed himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very rare where just someone walking into a room or just staring at a menu just gets you to laugh, because there's nothing real. My favorite sequence in this movie is the subway sequence. and I don't want to spoil what it involves basically, but just you expect it to get wild and crazy, but really it's one of the most tame sequences in the movie. And just him staring at the menu is like, I'm gonna go with the Black Forest ham today. And just Paul Rudd with that simple like smirk, like, good choice, coming right up. A foot long, right? And just like, it's dialogue that's not funny, but just it's very rare where just the mannerisms, the low-key just energy they bring on screen just makes you die laughing, because there's nothing really funny in that sequence, like I said, but just why was I dying laughing that whole scene, as well as my whole entire audience. And it's just the ridiculousness of how we're put in that situation, I guess, just catches you off guard. And just like, I'm really excited that this movie just went in directions to where it was unpredictable. Like overall, if you just laid out the plot, you'd be like, that's all that happens. But just of how ridiculous the lines are and the setups are, that it makes the payoff so strong.
Yeah, definitely. I would say if you aren't going to check out this movie, or maybe you haven't seen, I think you should leave. You don't even know who Tim Robinson is. I think that's the perfect opportunity to check out a movie like this, because you're going to be totally blindsided on what to expect, really. If cringeworthy humor isn't your thing and that kind of like you hate that, this might not be a movie for you, even though I think there is enough comedy in there that's not as cringe-inducing. You know, there is the cringe stuff, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff that might not be totally cringe worthy as well. But, you know, if that's something that bothers you, if you don't like cringing, like this might not be the movie for you. But overall, like, this is definitely a movie to check out. We have to like get behind movies like this that are when they're trying to make a comedy in this day and age, when everyone's telling you can't make a comedy anymore because you have to rely on the global box office. I think we have to stand up and be like, no, like we want comedies. We want to watch them in theaters. We want the whole room laughing. And I want to not be able to hear the dialogue because it's so funny, and I want to have to go see it again because I missed certain parts. That's kind of what I look forward to.
Definitely. And, you know, for a while, like A24 and Neon, like, you know, they have both kind of come out saying that they do need to make some money and put out some more mainstream style movies. And that made me worried just because A24 came out with Y2K last year, which I didn't bother seeing, but just I saw that it got pretty negative reviews and wasn't that well received. And A24 is known as like only putting out great art house movies. And if this is the mainstream direction they want to go in, then I'm all for it. Casting movies with Paul Rudd, because I know they also did Death of a Unicorn a couple of months ago, which I still haven't seen. But Neon recently came out with a movie where I was like, why did Neon put this out? It was called Hell of a Summer. The trailer I thought was strong, but just it wasn't anything original. And honestly, I hated that movie. The more I think about it, the more I dislike that movie. But one of the good things that came out of it was the director of the movie. It was co-directed by Finn Wolfhard, and I forget his partner that he made the movie with. But that guy is in this movie as the drug dealer. And I thought like it was just a nice, like, to see him again but make me laugh like crazy with just the simple delivery of saying something like, I love you to Tim Robinson. But yeah, so, you know, this movie isn't going to be for everyone, like you said, but please go check it out. Leave a comment down below letting us know what you thought about it. And A24, if this is what you mean by going with more marketable movies, let it be.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell for all of our latest updates.
And speaking of updates, be sure to catch all our social media links down below for Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and our own personal Letterboxd accounts. That's it for this week, folks. Tune in next week for a brand new video.